How's it going, everyone? This is Dan at Colossal Vids and welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of the Sunday Stroll. It feels so good to say that. It feels so good to be back. Now, what is the question this week? It's basically, what are your favourite film quotes? I'll send you over to the other guys now, enjoy what they say and get involved.
The two I'm going to go for. First one is from one of my favourite films of all times, and that's Rocky IV, when the massive Russian Ivan Drago, excited for Creed 2 by the way, the massive Russian Ivan Drago kills Rocky's best friend, Apollo. Well, his best friends had a couple of fights with him and then suddenly he's his best friend. I don't know, that's Rocky 3 for you, bringing people together. So, my man the Russian, Ivan Drago, kills Apollo Creed. He's standing there, all oiled and muscled and looking awesome. Rocky's there, Apollo's head in his hands, and Ivan Drago says, if he dies, he dies. How badass is that?
The first one is from an 80s movie called Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And its life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss it. It's just a quote which has stuck with me since I was young, and I think it's really sort of captures what life is all about. You do need to have a look around like this, or you will miss it. And as you get older, you do realise time moves very, very fast, especially when you've got kids. I think they give you something to measure time against, and you sort of realise we're now in 2018, which when we were younger seemed like very far into the future, but now it's sprung on us really quickly.
The first one that I thought of is from one of my favourite films ever. It is a cult classic in my opinion. It's all centred around Halloween. It's just fantastic. I just love it so much. It was on the movie channels the other day and I watched it again from start to finish because it never gets old, and it I could just watch it time and time again. And that is Hocus Pocus, of course. You know, great film with Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy. They are just fantastic in the film. And the quote that I thought of from that film is the scene where Billy Butcherson basically comes up from the grave, if you like. It's like resurrected, comes back to life, and Winifred Sanderson, Bette Midler's character, is there with him, kind of like annoying him, and he turns around and basically goes, "Oh, go to hell." And she turns around to him, it's so funny, and she's like, "Oh, I've been there, thank you, I found it quite lovely." And it's just that response, I just thought it was so witty, so unexpected when I first saw the film, and it literally just cracked me up. I would just burst out laughing. It was just such a great response, and just, as I say, wasn't expecting it. So I thought that was brilliant.
So my first choice is actually going to come from quite a current movie. Well, I say current, 2011 or something like that, I think it was, and it's Rocky Balboa. So yeah, not the favourite film in the franchise, and definitely not my favourite film ever, but yeah, one of my favourite quotes, so much so that I actually have this quote in a picture frame, like framed on the wall and at the top of my stairs, yeah, in my gaff. So that's how much I love it. And basically it's a scene outside the restaurant where Rocky's son is basically just moaning about who he is and his life and stuff, and Rocky just comes out with this great quote, just this great kind of rant about life, not all being sunshines and rainbows and stuff like that. Like, it's a very long quote, so obviously I'm not going to say it all, but the abridged version is basically, life ain't all sunshines and rainbows, and nothing hits harder than life is going to hit you harder. And it's not about how hard you can hit, but how hard you can get hit, keep moving forward and stuff like this. And yeah, because that's how winning is done. So yeah, if you want to see the full quote, you can do. You can find it on YouTube or whatever, or I'll post a link in the description. So yeah, the life ain't all sunshines and rainbows quote from Rocky Balboa.
Second quote I had trouble with, I couldn't really think of one. There's so many really good movie quotes, and I think I'm going to go for "He slimed me." Now, if you know me, you know I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters, and that's the bit where Peter Venkman gets slimed by the Slimer Ghost, and Ray comes running around the corner and he's on the floor covered in slime. Just one of those really iconic movie moments from the 80s.
So my second one is from another favourite action film of mine. Again, it's not uncommon, and this film is littered with quotes which really you could reel off for hours on ends. Well, maybe not hours because the film's only like an hour and a half, but for ages. There's so many great quotes on there, and it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger film called The Running Man. I'm sure people have heard of it. And basically, Arnie says his famous quote, "I'll be back," and nobody's really got an answer to that. So Arnie says his bit, "I'll be back" in Terminator, goes off, comes back, kills loads of people. Not in The Running Man. Killian, "I'll be back," said Ben Richards, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Killian comes back with, "Only in a rerun." Cool is that? Nobody has an answer for Arnie, apart from Killian. Wicked. Great stuff.
So my second pick is going to be from the classic spaghetti western, A Fistful of Dollars, Clint Eastwood. Absolutely amazing film. So yeah, picture the scene. There's a part in it where these people are shooting at his horse. They shoot at the feet of his horse and it runs off and stuff like that. Anyway, later on in the film, he sees these 4 people again and he goes over to confront them to get an apology about how they've upset his horse and all this stuff. And as you can imagine, they just sit there laughing in his face. Then all of a sudden, the camera just zooms in on Clint's face and he looks up with his cowboy hat and his woodbine hanging out his mouth and he just goes, "I don't think it's nice you laughing. See, my mule don't like it when you laugh. He gets this funny idea, you're laughing at him. But if you apologize, like I know you're going to, then I might just be able to convince him you really didn't mean it." And yeah, it's just one of the greatest scenes in movie history if you ask me. Yeah, watching that for the first time as a 12-year-old with my dad, and it just certified Clint Eastwood as being the king of cool. Amazing quote, amazing movie.
Another one just quickly that I thought of was in one of the best films I've ever seen, although I didn't see it till like earlier on this year, which is quite shocking and quite embarrassing, and that's obviously The Lost Boys, of course. Absolutely loved it, a vampire film, and it's basically the scene where Michael is eating, and he's like eating noodles, but like in his head it's like he's not really sure what's going on, and like he looks down and like David, the leader of the vampire gang, turns around and is like, "How are the maggots?" And he looks at him like confused and he's like, "Maggots, Michael, you're eating maggots." And he looks down and like it's maggots, and then like looks again after freaking out and it's like noodles. So it's just a great quote and it's a great scene in the film, and I just love that film so much. Like when I first watched it, yes, it was recently, but I just wanted to watch it again. I thought it was so good, and I can understand why people love it, and people kept recommending it to me to watch it in the first place. Yeah, that's pretty much my choices. So thank you very much for watching. Check out our Facebook, let us know what you think, send us some comments, send us some video responses, get involved as much as you can, and we'll see you next week for episode 3. Have a good one.